Good morning students and welcome to the online class once again. In today's video we will be discussing about the database management system and its advantages. Database systems. Why? Why there is a need of database system? We have already discussed about the file-based approach in which the retrieving of data was very difficult and there were no security of the data because a particular person can access the all data which is stored in the database. That is the reason the database system has been introduced, which is an organized collection of structured information or data which is stored electronically in a computer system at a central location. Also, in database system, it does not create a separate copy of the same data. The data is stored in different tables which are further linked together, and accessing of data becomes very easy. And if you do any kind of modification in one table, it is reflected in the other tables. You don't have to go to each table to change or modify the data of one particular person. That is why we are reading these database systems. As now we have understood that what is database system, so let us understand DBMS. It is a one kind of database management software which is specially designed to maintain the database and provide the services related to the management of the data which is stored inside the database. Few examples of popular DBMS softwares are Oracle, DB2, SQL Server, MySQL, and many others are there. We will be reading MySQL in further videos. Now let us look into some of the advantages of databases. First and the foremost advantage is that databases reduce the data redundancy to a large extent. Data redundancy means duplicacy of data. As database management system stores all the data at one place, and all the programs or the application that refer to the data to the same central place, so centralization makes sure that the redundancy doesn't happen and duplicacy doesn't happen. Data remain consistent and it is available to the user whenever it is required, and it should be secured as well. So up to a large extent, data redundancy and duplicacy is removed by the help of DBMS softwares, which was not possible in flat databases. Second advantage of database is that inconsistency is also controlled to a large extent. As we have already worked on controlling the data redundancy, which doesn't happen in databases, so database management system ensures that whenever any person makes any kind of changes in the data, if the changes are being made in one table or in one application, it is automatically reflected in the other table or in the other application. Like this, inconsistency doesn't happen and it is also controlled, because sometimes it happens that there can be the duplicacy of data due to some technical reasons or server issues. However, inconsistency is also controlled and there are very few, or you can say very less chances of getting the inconsistency or duplicacy in case of DBMS. The third advantage of database is that it facilitates sharing of data, which means that the data can easily be shared. Individual piece of data can easily be shared with different users with different tables. Also, it can control the user to view the data of one table. For example, if the school is maintaining the database and a fee department is having the data of a student which is obviously enrolled, and his detail will also be available with the administration department. So whenever an admin department requires the data from a fee department, it is easily available to them, but the security is also maintained that any unauthorized user will not be able to access that data. It will be shared only if it is required by the authorized user. The fourth advantage of database is that the databases enforce standards. Enforce standard means that it ensures that the data which is stored centrally follows the particular structure, follows the particular format to store the data, which means that if the data is stored like the table field is starting from roll number, name, class and section, so the person should enter the data related to the field only. The name cannot be entered in the roll number field. The section cannot be entered in the name field. It should be entered in a proper field. Proper structure, proper format should be followed, which makes it easy to relate it to any other table and retrieve the data from different tables. This point will be more clear when you will start creating the table in MySQL, that why formatting the data or why following the proper format, proper structure for entering the data is necessary. The fifth advantage of database is that it ensures data security, which means that the security and privacy of the data should be maintained while accessing the data from the database, and also by carrying the proper authorization check whenever any sensitive data access is required. For example, a person is trying to access the sensitive information of a person like date of birth, gender or name. So, proper authorization check, proper security methods should be followed, and it is followed by DBMS softwares before providing any data, any information to the person who is willing to access it from the database. The last advantage of database is that it ensures data independence. What is data independence? It means that the system data and the metadata are separated from application program. Any changes which are made to the data structure are handled by DBMS and the application programs are unaffected from it. You can understand like this, that firstly, when you will start working on MySQL, you have to create a structure of the table. Like you have to decide the field of the table and whatever the data type of the field is required. After that, you will start entering the data into the table. So suppose in future you try to change the data type of a particular field, which is the format of the data in the database. It ensures that the table in which your data is already entered and filled, that should not be deleted or changed or modified on its own. It should not be affected by changing the data type in the structure of the table. So the data independence is also there in DBMS. That is the reason we are moving forward to store the data in database management softwares instead of using the file-based approach for storing the data. That's all for today, students. I hope you have understood all the points which I have discussed today related to the advantages of DBMS software. Well, till the time you revise all the topics, if you have any problem, get back to me. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.